Bob Liadis. I'm President and CEO of the ANA. And today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about our advocacy efforts. Now, what I mean by advocacy are those areas, those programs, those initiatives that the ANA conducts on behalf of the entire industry. You see, there are certain things that individual companies cannot prosecute. It's only the collective force of the ANA and other like associations that can literally act on behalf of the entire industry. Now, what many people may not be aware of is that we have a group of people who are in Washington, D.C. that act on behalf of the industry across a number of fronts to be able to deal with the kinds of legislation in Washington and in state legislatures around the country that may in fact be adverse to the advertising and the marketing communities. And so what these groups are about is to try to ensure that legislation does not appear in the commercial free speech front or the privacy front or the advertising tax front that can in fact negatively affect the advertising and marketing communities. There are a couple of key issues that have popped up in recent days since the beginning of the Obama administration that we all should be very much aware of. For example, the issues about prescription drugs and the potential limitations on prescription drug advertising and the waiting period that prescription drugs, particularly new prescription drugs, would need to take are the kinds of things that can be damaging to prescription drug makers. In the area of tobacco, it's hard to imagine that we're talking about tobacco advertising, but it's possible that the FDA will take regulatory authority over tobacco, limiting some of the marketing freedoms that the tobacco industry has in the advertising and marketing front. We can't let those kinds of things happen because if it happens to one industry, it can certainly happen to all. There's another piece of legislation that's brewing that would possibly rate advertising, almost in the same way that television programs or even movies are rated. Now, we kind of think that the legislatures might be overstepping their bounds, and believe me, advertising does not need ratings or a rating system at this stage of the game, so we're working hard to counter those particular efforts. Product placements, those pieces of advertising that are embedded within the content of a program, are trying to be regulated by the Washington community. We believe that there are enough safeguards and self-regulatory practices that are in place to not warrant the kind of restrictive regulatory approach that is currently emanating from Washington. And then finally, and the thing that is always concerning at all points in time, is the advertising tax arena. Now, think about the massive deficits that the Obama administration and state legislators are working with, and they need to be able to fund their respective initiatives and programs from somewhere. Well, one of the places that they always seem to look, and that where we have been successful almost 100% of the time, is in the area of advertising taxes, or better said, limiting the deductibility of advertising as a legitimate business expense. We have fought those battles time and again over the course of time, and the cumulative effort of our victories has saved the industry over $200 billion over the last 10 years. So as you can see, lots going on in Washington. The ANA and other associations like the 4As and the AAF are fighting on your behalf. Thank you very much.